The Old Man and the Sea, Part 21. During the night, two porpoises, okay, so the pronunciation is porpoise. You'll see, guys, in the Quizlet, in those flashcards, now more and more frequently, sometimes I just, in one side of the card, you have the word. On the flip side, you are going to have the phonetical transcript for that. I really think phonetical transcription is an excellent tool, so I will try to, make you guys practice a little bit more using the phonetical transcript. In the future, I'll record a video about phonetical transcript, and it will be in the section of the channel named phonetics. Well, during the night, two porpoises came around the boat, and he could hear them rolling and blowing. Keep in mind that why is the plural of porpoise? You will see that many kind of fish have the plural just like that. If I'm not wrong, porpoise has both plurals, because I think I've seen somewhere porpoises, but that's not the point here. The point is, we have one fish, two fish, three fish, blue fish, red fish. Remember, that's the name of a book by Dr. Seuss. And because of that, there will be many names of fish or kinds of fish that will have their plural in the same word, right? So that's why two porpoise here. During the night, two porpoises came around the boat, and he could hear them rolling and blowing. He could tell the difference between the blowing noise the male made and the sighing blow of the female. Porpoise is a kind of dolphin. I've read that some people even classify porpoises or porpoise and dolphins in the same category, but they're very close. And of course, when talking about blowing, you're talking about that hole they have on the top of their head, right? They are good, he said. They play and make jokes and love one another. They are our brothers like the flying fish. Then he began to pity the great fish that he had hooked. He is wonderful and strange. Who knows how old he is, he thought. Never have I had such a strong fish, nor one who acted so strangely. Perhaps he is too wise to jump. He could ruin me by jumping or by a wild rush. But perhaps he has been hooked many times before, and he knows that this is how he should make his fight. He cannot know that it is only one man against him, nor that it is an old man. Because of course, if there were more people on the boat, the fish would jump, there would be more guys there to harpoon the fish. So according to the old man, the fish is playing his strategy, thinking that he's fighting against some fishermen, right? But he's fighting just against one, so his strategy is good for the old man. But perhaps he has been hooked many times before, and he knows that this is how he should make his fight. He cannot know that it is only one man against him, nor that it is an old man. But what a great fish he is, and what he will bring to the market if the flesh is good. He took the bait like a male, and he pulls like a male, and his fight has no panic in it. I wonder if he has any plans, or if he's just as desperate as I am. He remembered the time he had hooked one of a pair of marlin. The male fish always let the female fish feed first, and the hooked fish, the female, made a wild, panic-stricken, despairing fight that soon exhausted her. So according to the old man here, and according to the narrator, apparently female fish, they panic and they use up all of their energy, and therefore they can't fight for a long time, right? Stricken would be one possible past participle of strike, you know, just like lightning can strike a tree. And of course you have strike in bowling, right? When you hit all the pins, you have a strike, right? So panic stricken, it is, let's say, overcome with panic, right? Desperate fight that soon exhausted her. And all the time the male had stayed with her, crossing the line and circling with her on the surface. He had stayed so close that the old man was afraid he would cut the line with his tail, which was sharp as a scythe. Remember, scythe is that kind of big knife, let's put it this way, Madame Death carries with her, right? That's a scythe. So his tail was sharp as a scythe, and almost of the size and shape. When the old man had gaffed her, remember gaff is that kind of pole, you know, or big stick with a hook at the end of it, right? So when the fish is close enough, you are able to hook the fish with that gaff, and then of course you're going to bring the fish closer to the boat, so you'll be able to hit the fish with a club, and that's what we have here, right? When the old man had gaffed her and clubbed her, holding the rapier bill with its sandpaper edge. Remember that rapier, we're talking about a kind of weapon, and bill, another kind of weapon, and we've discussed that in the first or second section, right? But there are some pictures there. But basically we're talking about a kind of sword, right? Sandpaper, remember, I think the name says everything. It's much more logical than Portuguese, right? Because the name says exactly what sandpaper is, you know? It's paper covered with sand, you know, and you use that to braid wood, so it will be very smooth. Holding the rapier bill with its sandpaper edge, so it means that the edge of, imagine here's the bill, right, the sword of the swordfish, the edge, you know, it feels like sandpaper. And clubbing her across the top of her head until her collar turned to a color almost like the backing of mirrors. And then, with the boy's aid, hoisted her aboard. The male fish had stayed by the side of the boat. Then, while the old man was clearing the lines and preparing the harpoon, the male fish jumped high into the air beside the boat to see where the female was, and then went down deep. His lavender wings, that were his pectoral fins, spread wide, and all his wide lavender stripes showing. He was beautiful, the old man remembered, and he had stayed. That was the saddest thing I have ever saw with them, the old man thought. The boy was sad too, and we begged her pardon and butchered her promptly. Cut her up, right? I wish the boy was here, he said aloud, and settled himself against the rounded planks of the bow, and felt the strength of the great fish through the line he held across his shoulders, moving steadily towards whatever he had chosen. When once, through my treachery, it had been necessary to him to make a choice, the old man said. Treachery is like dishonest trick, right? So, for example, I don't know, somebody overthrowing a king or an emperor in the Roman Empire, for example, you know, so treachery. There's a person close to the emperor or to the king. This person apparently is loyal to them, but one day they prepare something and they are treacherous, right? And they kill the emperor or the king. So through my treachery, why? Because, you would never imagine that, some fish there in the ocean would actually hide a hook, and that hook would bring death to you, right? The old man didn't go there and showed the fish that he wanted to kill the fish. So that's why he's considering what he did treachery. His choice had been to stay in the deep dark water, far out beyond all snares, a kind of trap, and traps and treacheries. My choice was to go there to find him beyond all people in the world. Now we are joined together and have been since noon, and no one to help either one of us. Perhaps I should not have been a fisherman, he thought, but that was the thing that I was born for. I must surely remember to eat the tuna after it gets light. I really like this passage, because for a moment there, for a second, right, he imagines that, maybe this is not for me, this is too hard, and it's cruel, right? It's hard because it's cruel on the fish, and I have to use treachery, so perhaps I shouldn't have been a fisherman. So he is doubting for a moment on his vocation, right? But then he remembers that's silly. This kind of thought is silly. He knows. He doesn't know probably how to explain it, but he knows his vocation is fish, and he has to fish. Period. And he answers to that moment of doubt and forgets all the theory there and go directly to practical terms. So, because remember, he could have, just dreamed on. So, what is to have a vocation? Is being a fisherman better than, I don't know, helping fish? And then he would continue thinking and thinking. He doesn't do that, He just has this short moment of doubt. He answers that doubt, and then again, he goes to practical terms. No, I have to remember to eat the fish because I have to be strong for this fight. All right. So again, I should just do what I was born to do, not think about what I was born to do. Sometime before daylight, something took one of the baits that were behind him. Remember, the fish is towing him this direction. Okay, the line is across his shoulder. He is managing that, bracing himself against the planks there. And then there was another fish who took the bait in that direction. So that means there would be two fish pulling the boat in opposite directions. Of course, this fish here, the new fish, is probably much weaker than the fish he has hooked before. But keep in mind, it would increase the strain on the rope ahead, right? And what could happen? The other fish wouldn't be able to stop this one, So the line could break. That's a big problem, right? So sometime before day-night, something took one of the baits that were behind him. He heard the stick break, the stick that, goes down when the hook has been taken, and the line began to rush out over the gunnel. Be careful with this pronunciation, okay? It's not a gunwale, it's a gunnel, right? Gunnel. Gunnel is like the edge of the boat. You have the planks going like this around this is the skiff, the boat, right? You have the planks, and you just don't have the top of the plank here, right? You have something here, Gunnel. You can sit here in bigger boats or ships. You'll have a picture there in Quizlet. So the line began to rush out over the gunnel of the skiff. In the darkness, he loosened, very important, his sheath knife, and taking all the strain of the fish on his left shoulder, he leaned back and cut the line against the wood of the gunnel. And just let the fish free. We have to talk about loosen, sheath, and this idea of cutting the line. But my battery is running out, so I'll make a second part for this video.